What's up, guys? We're doing another tea time. I know we haven't done one in quite a long time, but tonight I have been inspired and I really have been wanting to do this for a while. So tonight we are doing a tea time. The tea that I'm making is peach detox, dandelion root, and perfect energy. In my Jedi cup with my Yoda slips on. I know they're old. Oh well. This one says, from a small seed, a mighty trunk may grow. This one says, everlasting impact with compassion and kindness is called love. And perfect energy says, walk beautifully, talk beautifully, live beautifully. That's perfect for this because today I'm going to be talking about walking my talk. What's up, everybody? My name is Dani Reardon, and some people call me Little Monster, and this is an episode of Tea Time. We haven't done a tea time in quite a long time. We've been kind of focused on other videos, but today I want to tell you a little story about my off season, and I want to tell you it because now I'm on the other side of it, and it took me a lot to get here. I went through a lot over the last couple months, and some of you could probably tell by my videos. I feel like my light was almost getting dull after last year's Olympia, and I kind of want to let you guys know why and what I went through, and the reason why I want to tell you that is because I believe that everybody goes through things, and although mine were kind of extreme examples of that, I really think that the realizations that I made and what I want to tell you about today can probably help you get through some of your things too. I'm a little nervous to tell you guys about this because this is going to be kind of raw, kind of unfiltered, kind of something, another side of me that you guys haven't really seen before or heard of, because I've been pretty good at hiding it. So what I want to start with is a little piece from a book, a little piece from a poem or an essay called Our Deepest Fear. And it says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And the reason why I tell you that is because in this off season, I found out what that meant. And at first I read it and I was like, oh, we're powerful beyond measure, super cool. And I didn't really understand what that meant until my dark was afraid of my light. And I didn't know until I lived through that. And now I'm on the other side of it, and I can tell you that for sure. And so I heard this poem, and for some reason it stuck with me, that one part in it. And I thought, how could our dark be afraid of our light? How can I be afraid of me? There must be two, right? So there's a dark part of me and there's a light part of me. And in the presence of light, like flicking on a light, darkness cannot exist. So in life, when we do things, you either are right or you're wrong. There are ones and zeros, there's truth and error, there's dark and light, dark side, light side. And I think the difference in me this year is just that, my dark and my light side. And as much as I wanted to say last year that I was completely light side, I think that's a lie. The way I went through my prep last year was intense, and I did what I was supposed to do, but I don't know that I did it 111% like I am this year. And that was part of my dark side. So just a little example of that would be, instead of eating 4 ounces of chicken, I would eat 4.2 ounces or 4.3. And as long as it was under 5 ounces, it was still considered 4 ounces. But that's wrong. That is me walking in error. And the thing is, I was able to outwork that in the gym and on the stepper, so I was still able to achieve second place. A couple other things I did before the Olympia last year. I kind of slacked off here and there with posing and practicing and polishing myself. We partied a couple times before the Olympia, and you know, it was controversial in some regard why I didn't win, but I truly believe it was because I wasn't being the person that I needed to be. Maybe I might have been the body that I needed to be or close to it, but I wasn't the person I needed to be. And after the Olympia last year, I remember seeing a shirt that says ego kills talent, and I thought it meant ego as in don't be like, oh, look at me, I'm second place in the world, whatever. And I'm totally not like that. So I was, for some reason, that shirt resonated with me, and it stuck with me for a whole year. And I didn't really find out what it meant until pretty much I started prepping this year. And to me, ego is darkness. It's when you act out of the dark. And the thing is, in the presence, like I said before, in the presence of light, darkness cannot exist. So when you're acting out of your ego, you're not acting in your true light. So for me, I'm relating that to my own dark side and light side. So the dark side being my ego, very egoic decisions, cheating on my diet, partying, doing drugs, drinking, doing all the things I'm not supposed to do. And what I learned is that my ego was afraid to die. Knowing what was coming, knowing that I was going to be walking in my light, my ego was trying to keep me down. And that's what the ego does, is it tries to keep us down with self-sabotage, cheating on your diet, being lazy, doing drugs, drinking. And it's like, it's that part in your head that tells you, oh, it's going to be okay, nobody will notice, you'll get through it, whatever, it's just one time. That's that egoic mindset, and that's what I was kind of living in. And unfortunately, I'm able to be second in the world living in my ego and doing things that I'm not really supposed to be doing. For me to be ultimately light side and to truly walk my walk and talk my talk, my ego would have to die. Those decisions, that part of me would have to die. And I haven't really told very many people this because it kind of like freaking wigged me out. Was last year at the Olympia, I was on stage, and the women's physique are in the expo hall, and one of the banners was actually covered with the word, and all I could see was die, like D-I-E. I don't even remember the rest of the banner because I couldn't see it. All I could see was die. And you know how I am with signs, like I notice everything. So for me to notice the word die, like fucking flipped me out. And I didn't really know what it meant. I actually, for a while, I thought I was gonna die. Like I literally thought I went through a part where I was like afraid to leave the house because I thought that meant me. Come to find out, what I think it meant was that girl, that second place girl, that egoic girl, she had to die in order for me to be first place, in order for me to be the person that I want to be the role model I want to be, the role model that I asked for. I asked for this position, and for so long I was sweeping it under the rug, and I was numbing myself almost to the fact that I was a little monster. I almost didn't accept it, and I haven't accepted it like pretty much until this point. There was a moment that I had recently when I got a piece of fan mail. She wrote me this beautiful letter and drew me a picture, and that was I was reading a bunch of stuff on Instagram, and that letter and the picture and the little gift that she gave me was kind of the icing on the cake, or the straw that broke the camel's back for me. And I was just reading it and like what I helped her get through, and to me it was a moment of acceptance. And for me, I always swept the fact under the rug, I just didn't want to really look at, I guess, who I was or who I was becoming, and the following, it kind of freaked me out, and I just didn't want to like accept it. But I remember sitting at the counter reading it and just crying, and just like not even being able to really talk and really being able to voice why I was crying. But I think it was a moment of me accepting my role as a swole model for this industry, and that was a huge moment for me because for a while I was grateful for everything, but I never accepted it like I did. And after that moment, I think I really took on the role And that was a big moment for me. And this is a big moment for me too, talking to you guys like this. My off season was very numb and very dark. I call it like the dark night of my soul, and it totally 100% was. You guys probably noticed that the videos kind of fell off and they weren't the same positivity and lightness. I mean, I still talk very positive. I'm still a very positive person, but what a lot of people don't know is that, we went on a trip with my family, and through that trip, we were on a cruise and on a road trip, and during that trip, like, I drank a lot. I don't even really like drinking. Like, I don't like drinking. I actually have a bad history of it in my family, and it's not good for me. And I was doing that, and I was like numbing myself, and I was doing drugs, and I was partying, and I was eating. I was doing all of the things that I wasn't supposed to be doing, and it was numbing the fact that I wasn't being who I need to be and who I want to be and who I asked to be. I was afraid to be that person, but the person that was afraid was my ego. My dark side was afraid of that light side of that person, so it was keeping me down with all of these things, and it started to manifest these issues in my hands, and these issues that were so painful that they were nerve conduction issues. And there were some mornings I would wake up in like excruciating pain. Like, I literally could not open my hands. I spent a good part of about 3 months sleeping in a chair because I couldn't lay down, because all of the water retention and all the extra weight on my body, my nerves and blood vessels couldn't handle it, because I have something called thoracic outlet syndrome. So when I have a lot of weight on me, it hurts really bad. And I had to sleep outside in this chair because it was really the only thing that was upright enough. And I had to lay my arms down so the circulation would flow, because when I laid flat, the fluid shifts would cause like inflammation, and it would cause a lot of pooling in my shoulders. So there were about 3 to 4 months where I did not get a full night's sleep. From like January, February, March, April till May. Probably January to May was probably the worst 4 months of my life. I was at the Arnold. If you look at the videos, I'm in a freaking hoodie because I was too embarrassed and too chubby, I thought, to be even in a t-shirt. So I was in a hoodie. I didn't sleep any of the nights I was there. We drank on the plane. We drank going there and coming home and while we were there, because I was numbing myself, because I wasn't being Little Monster. I wasn't being Dani Reardon, the person that I want to be. And it was like a super depressing time for me, and it was super tough. And out of that, I lost a Primeval sponsorship. Ian was part-time and he had to go full-time again because I lost a Primeval sponsorship and we needed more money. And it just so happens that on May the 4th, when I started my prep, that's when Primeval had dumped me. It ended up being a blessing, but that was one of the things that came out of that off season. Not only was I in mental pain, I was in physical pain and now financial pain. And there was a time where I didn't even think I could prep for this show. I didn't go 5 months without cheating on my diet. Every day I had something I wasn't supposed to have. And although it sounds something it may sound so stupid to you, and it may sound so normal to just have a cookie every day, but for somebody who wants to be Miss Olympia, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. For somebody who wants to win the Arnold Classic and win the Olympia and be this role model and this shining star, that's not something that I should be doing. I shouldn't be doing drugs. I shouldn't be drinking. I shouldn't be eating bad. And during those months where I was sleeping in a chair outside at 3 a.m. in the morning, at night, looking up at the stars, I really got into like meditating, because that's the only thing that I could do. And I would try to meditate. I would put in my headphones and I would meditate for hours because I couldn't fall asleep because my arms were tingling so bad. But I feel like all of that like meditation time, like kind of like made me realize a lot of stuff about myself. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a soul contract. I don't even know if I truly know what a soul contract is, but we even flew somebody in to work on me. And he was very spiritual. And after when he was here working on me because my arms were sore, we actually had a party. And I did drugs and I drank while he was here. And he's working on me, trying to fix me. And he said something to me when he read me my soul contract about the type of person that I am. And one of the things that he said was, I get lost in my ego. And he said it was like I was living a double life. And for the first time, that hit me so differently. And for the first time, finally, the dark and the light made sense. I wanted to be light, but I was being dark, and the two were not meshing. And I was in pain all over the place, and I really needed to like get out of that negative spiral in order to prep for the show. And thank the universe that he told me that, because had he not, I don't know that I would have realized that I was living a double life, because I was so caught up in numbing myself. And it was just like innocent things that I would be like, hey babe, want to go to dinner? And then we'd be at dinner and be like, hey, want to get some drinks? And then it would turn into drinks, then it would turn into dessert. And it was just like this downward spiral of myself, and I was losing myself. But what's funny is I started my Olympia prep on May the 4th, Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And that was the day that I think everything turned around for me, because I made this realization, and this prep is going so smooth that I could just cry. And everything is just coming together so beautifully. And I'm meeting these wonderful people. And I'm believing in myself more than ever, because I'm creating my worth and I'm doing everything right. And that brings me to Redcon. Redcon, or reconnaissance, means ultimate state of readiness. And I think that also took me to another level of understanding, because before I would always say, I'm ready for a show, I'm ready for a show, but I was physically ready. I knew I could do the hard work. I knew I could do cardio harder than anybody else. I knew I could train harder than anybody else. But as much as I thought my mental game was good, and as much as I thought that it was wrong, it wasn't ultimately ready. When I walked into Redcon, and when I heard about the ultimate state of readiness, that was something that like I wanted to be. And there's a couple things even within the last month that I've done differently that have made me even more ultimately ready for the person that I want to be. And it's just crazy, the people that are coming into my life, even the little coffee meetings that I'm having are so impactful. And I think it's because I'm walking my talk. Like I tell you guys to do stuff, and I have for the last couple years, but I don't know that I was wholeheartedly doing what I was saying. And it kind of wore on me. But now, I truly feel like I'm ultimately ready. And I truly feel like not only am I ready physically for the role of Miss Olympia, but I feel like I'm ready to be a swole model and a role model, and to be in front of people and to be talking to you like this. And the more honest that I am, I feel like the more that it'll help you guys, because I go through things and I don't want to sugarcoat anything, because I think that if I tell you my story, it'll help you with your story. And everybody lives out of ego decisions and out of dark decisions until they realize that it could be buying things. You could be spending money on a bunch of bullshit to numb the fact that you are not living the life that you want to live. You could be going into a relationship and making things out of an egoic decision because you're afraid to step out and be like powerful by yourself. And those are kind of egoic decisions that keep you down. The ego wants to keep your light down. It wants to shade you. But inside, you know that there's more. And inside, your light wants to shine. But our egoic mind wants to cover that. And it covers it with things like self-sabotage. Like if you've ever started a prep and not gone all the way through, it's because of that self-sabotage part of you, that ego, that's keeping you down. But once you learn that, once you realize that, and once you realize the decisions that you're making and how you're making them and from what place you're making them, you can start to change them. And you can start to make decisions based on light. So you can really weigh them out and say, where is this coming from? What am I doing? Am I distracting myself? Am I numbing myself? Is this really what I want to do? Because the truth is, there are only two ways to do things. There's a right way and there's a wrong way. So you're either dieting or you're not dieting. You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. In the universe, there is an equal and an opposite. There's really no gray area. So I sit here telling you this and telling you about my dark, painful, depressing off season, because I believe that I'm in my light now. And I believe that you have to go through the dark to be in the light. And I just want to tell you guys that if you're going through some dark times, to just keep going and to really think about the decisions that you're making and why you're making them, because there is another side. You just have to be stronger. You have to overcome that dark side. You have to be a Jedi, and you have to resist the dark side. You have to resist the temptations, and you have to do what's uncomfortable. And once you do what's uncomfortable, once you take one step, once I did one, May the 4th, I did one perfect day in the right direction. And once you do one day, you can do another day and another day. It's just a matter of making it through that first day of telling your ego to shut the fuck up. And the answer is no. Ego, shut up. So here we are 29 days out from the Olympia. And I don't really know what's gonna happen. But I have a really good feeling about it. And I have a really good feeling about the person that this prep and this off season has made me. And as painful as it was, I'm grateful that it happened, because had it not happened, had I not had excruciating nerve pain, had I not lost primeval, then I don't know that I could be even talking to you like this right now. I don't even know that I would be prepping for this show right now. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because we all go through dark times. Even people who are on the top of the world. I just want you to know that there's another side, and you can all reach it. And I don't really know how this video is going to go over with me talking about me drinking and partying and doing drugs and like binging on food, because that's not the person that you guys are used to seeing. But I can assure you that that won't be the person that you'll ever see, now that I know what I know. So the moral is, once you know better, do better. And the only time it's a failure is when you know better and you don't do better. So every day, my mantra is be better every day. It's better every day. Because we learn every day, and we can make choices every day. Every moment we have a choice to make. And I encourage you all to do your best to walk in the light. And if you find yourself in the dark, don't beat yourself up about it. Be grateful that it's there, because it's there to teach you something. And the darker that it is, the bigger the lesson. You just have to listen for it. So, I hope you guys still like me. And thank you for listening to my tea time and to my emotion. And I am in my ultimate state of readiness right now. I am Redcon, and I am believing. And I am Dani Reardon, aka Little Monster, and I accepted it. can we start over?